All right, so if you're thinking about making upgrades to your Sherman Oaks home before selling, stop and watch this video. You see, most homeowners in Sherman Oaks, they don't lose money when they sell, they lose it earlier, during the renovations that they thought were smart. As a Sherman Oaks realtor for a living, I watch buyers every week walk into beautifully renovated homes and immediately start negotiating. And it's not because the home is bad, it's because the upgrades that were done create doubt, risk, or future work in their mind. So if you're thinking about upgrading your home in Sherman Oaks or Encino or Studio City or Valley Village, this video could save you a massive amount of money and a very preventable mistake. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with what you're thinking about changing, and I'll tell you how Los Angeles buyers actually see it and why some upgrades cost sellers real money. And if you want more actionable advice on selling or buying in Sherman Oaks, don't forget to download my buyer and my seller guide that are linked in the description below. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, before we begin, please let me be clear. This is not about telling you how to live in your home, right? If you're staying long-term and you love something and you want to do it, it's your call. Homes are personal. But when it comes to real estate, where renovation costs are high and labor is expensive and buyers' expectations are sharp, return on investment matters whether you like it or not, And as a Sherman Oaks real estate agent, my role isn't just to list homes. My role is to help homeowners avoid mistakes before they show up on the MLS. I sit in on pricing discussions where sellers are shocked that their expensive upgrade didn't translate to a higher number. And I hear buyer conversations during showings, and I see how inspections and appraisals, magnify decisions once in escrow. So spending money doesn't earn you credit automatically. Buyers don't care what something costs you, they care how it makes them feel when they are buying your home. And anything that creates hesitation usually creates a discount. And upgrades quietly create certain upgrades, if you do it wrong, could create hesitation, whereas making the right upgrades and in the right way could make buyers feel more confident and help you with your resale value. All right, number one, super specific personal design choices, right? From wild wallpaper, bright accent walls, custom murals, ultra themed room. Homeowners go over the top sometimes because it feels expressive and it's exciting to customize one's living space. It's why we own real estate, makes the home feel unique. And while that might feel good living there, it definitely works against you when selling your Los Angeles home. So here's what happens when a buyer walks into a home in Sherman Oaks or Studio City and they see something that is extremely specific. So instead of picturing their life in the home, they immediately start picturing removal costs. And in some cases, it could subconsciously give them a bad feeling about the home. That said, the reality is that buyers simply do not have imagination or the desire to make changes unless they're compensated for it. So the more personal the design choices are, typically the smaller the buyer pool becomes. And smaller buyer pools mean less competition, and less competition means weaker offers. So as a Sherman Oaks realtor, I see this show up as longer days on market, more price negotiations, not because the home is bad, because buyers feel boxed in, to someone else's vision and they don't have a vision of their own. So number two is replacing quality materials with trendy, cheaper alternatives, right? A common renovation is sacrificing engineered or quality hardwood, trying to save an extra couple dollars per foot, and going with lower quality materials such as luxury vinyl, an attempt to make it look new. And especially when the installation is floated and it has that squishy feel, buyers don't like that. It feels like Pergo, and they feel the lack of quality. So before you go and cut the flooring budget, look for other areas to pull back, as the right flooring makes all the difference in the world. Another area where mistakes get made is lower grade cabinetry, which is tempting. Look, I get it. Cabinetry can be very expensive and one of the larger ones. So if you can keep the shelves refaced with solid wood or close to, I think you'll find the feeling of quality and strength is what buyers are looking for. Another is trendy or flimsy, lighter sink fixtures. They're all things that buyers notice. So when you go do the remodel, understand that buyers in Los Angeles are incredibly good at spotting quick flips and know when corners are being cut. And that's when the trust evaporates. So once the trust is gone, buyers stop competing, they walk away, and there's a reason for the saying, and that is cheap is expensive and expensive isn't cheap. So keep that in mind. In the end of the day, if you go with a little bit higher quality and pick those neutral colors that are likely to last, you're gonna come out fine. All right, number 3 is deciding not to hire a designer. And designers can be expensive, and when a seller is facing enormous renovation expenses, from permits to material costs to appliances to the labor to the general contractor, it all adds up quickly and can feel overwhelming. And there's a temptation to skip working with a great designer because the home seller often feels like they can save money, or that they can make decisions that buyers like, or maybe the contractor doesn't want to delay or have to work with a designer. Not sure if but if the two don't know each other, they can actually have their conflicts, as it's two cooks in the kitchen. But the hard reality is that we see this all the time, is that homes that sell for the highest dollar per foot usually have the most expensive materials chosen carefully by a designer, from top countertops to counter choices to flooring to landscaping. When everything is tied together beautifully, it massively transforms the way a space feels, and that's when the sale prices skyrocket. So do yourself a favor. If you're gonna do a significant remodel to your home, hire a designer and work with them to tie it all together. Not only will you love your home more, but when you go to sell it down the road, the buyers will too. Number 4, guys, is DIY projects that look not so good, right? Sloppy paint lines, wobbly built-ins, Pinterest ideas that are executed without a professional finish are tempting, but if they're done in the wrong way, a homeowner thinks they save money, but especially in lower markets, buyers are incredibly sensitive to workmanship. And the moment they see something that's poorly executed, they don't just judge that one item, they question everything. What else was done cheaply? What's hidden behind the walls? That mindset is clear and it continues in escrow. And in Sherman Oaks, buyers associate poor workmanship with future inspection issues, and that leads to harder negotiations, more credits requested, and sometimes, deals falling apart altogether or not even coming together in the first place. So before you do the DIY project, make sure you do the research, know what you're doing, watch the YouTube videos, be careful, do it right, try to work with a subcontractor that really knows what they're doing, have them teach you, do it with them, but try not to do it on your own, guys, because quality matters. Number 5 is turning a bedroom into something else, right? Space is at a premium, and I get it. Homeowners are looking for home gyms, art studios, and most commonly, the walk-in closet takeover. And this is one of the more common resale mistakes that I see in Sherman Oaks as a realtor. When homeowners look at unused bedrooms as wasted space and they reassign them, thus lowering their critical bedroom count to suit their needs. And here's the problem. Bedroom count equals value, right? Buyers are searching by bedroom count. And even if the room is still a bedroom, the moment a bedroom no longer functions as a bedroom, buyers mentally downgrade the home. Don't ask me why. Even if you tell them it can be converted back easily, common sense would say, if this buyer can't figure it out, they aren't the buyer for my house. And I get it, I hear it all the time. The issue is that people search online, and if they don't see enough bedrooms, it can have a negative impact on your sale. So simply put, in Los Angeles real estate, buyers are not looking for future projects, even if small reversals feel like a hassle. So instead of giving you credit for the upgrade, they price in the reversal cost, and sometimes it creates uncertainty. And the idea is to show your home with plenty of bedrooms to maximize buyer interest. If you have to use a bedroom space, try to make it easily convertible back into a space that will maximize buyer demand when it's time to sell. And that way you get the best of both worlds. You use the space now, but before you sell, turn it back and show the house so that it maximizes buyer interest. Number 6 is converting the garage space. In Los Angeles right now, ADUs have never been hotter. It seems like 1 out of every 4 homes has a garage that's been converted to either a legal ADU or a quick unpermitted addition, done during COVID to make room for a gym, a home office, or both. And interestingly enough, most buyers in LA are comfortable living in Los Angeles without a garage and instead would favor the extra living space. But you do have to realize you are cutting off a portion of the market for those that must park their cars in the garage as parking a car in a garage or having storage is often more valuable than the extra living space. And let's face it, storage and parking are lifestyle necessities, not luxuries. As for unpermitted garage conversions, when a buyer sees, a garage conversion that's unpermitted, a small portion of them worry about the legality, possible financing issues, or potential appraisal issues. So before you go and do a bunch of unpermitted work to a garage, consider doing it correctly. Ensure you get the maximum value from the market that you deserve. But like we said before, it's your home. Do what feels right to you. Number 7, swimming pools in the wrong location. Pools are synonymous with Sherman Oaks and Studio City real estate because let's face it, in the valley, it can get really hot. And in the summer, you'd think that's a feature that most buyers have on their wish list, but not all. Here's the problem that we see mostly when it comes to pools and especially on the smaller lots. Too large of a pool can be a turnoff because families, especially with younger kids, they value grassy yards for play. And when it comes to newer construction or remodels, there's temptations to make the pool the focal point of the backyard, or because of a tree, forcing the pool too close to the home. And the problem is that buyers don't want to exit the backyard and have to walk around a pool to get to the outdoor entertaining space. Preferably the pool is sequestered to the side of the lot, or maybe it's in the back, which allows more flow to the yard and easier entertaining. And last, while some buyers love pools, we're finding that many young families are afraid of pools for fear of drowning. So if you're just doing it for resale value, you might want to give it some thought before you do it. All right, number 8, over-the-top landscaping. While beautiful and lovely to look at, over-the-top elaborate landscaping, removal of grassy backyards in favor of magical gardens makes all the sense for an empty nester who loves being in the backyard, doing their thing. However, when going to resell the home, we find that buyers prefer flat grassy yards where kids have room to run around in favor of, a soccer pitch or a place to throw the ball. And let's face it, the buyer pool today for the most part, the largest wave of first-time home buyers in United States history. And often the families have kids that are 1 to 5 years old, and sometimes there's multiple of them. And being able to go in the backyard and have a nice flat patchy grass of a yard is true luxuries for young mothers. That said, like in the beginning of this video, you want to enjoy your yard the way that you want to enjoy it, and that's the reason why you bought your house in the first place. So you're gonna live in the home for a long time and you want your magical garden, by all means, go for it and enjoy it. If you found this video helpful, hit like. It helps this video reach more Los Angeles homeowners, before they make the expensive renovation mistakes. If you have questions about your home or an upgrade you're considering, please drop it in the comments below. I'm happy to weigh in. I'd love to know what you all think, especially for Sherman Oaks and surrounding Los Angeles neighborhoods. And for more honest Los Angeles real estate insight, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to go deeper, grab my buyer and seller guides that are linked below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.